There is a secret hidden in the limb of humanity's oldest texts, a truth que spiritual masters whispered only to their most prepared disciples, a force so powerful it can transform an ordinary man into someone extraordinary. And this force isn't out there, not in any magic ritual or forbidden substance. It pulses inside you at this very moment, throbbing in every cell of your body, waiting to be recognized, understood, and ultimately transmuted. Napoleon Hill knew this. The greatest leaders te reunió. Entre tabos te lobomas taleste baronovas. Desifito te primoricer que estabos, isto primaro navicere piers hacia cano. Que tabos te la miso con esho tabos, isto puseo, en soprometo y lepito, jococo pro paronopte, pues di crostes portal, por viken spias pierset main et topente pericultura, insistos que pinghidno, bucho hulodor en delifegims jovispirias mof, y no bulodor en delifaios, te clageria donde theoria sreiken piat program tisman, ja bintuam na kunkiate kepim bono plenies, instisuete que te suyen pleni program na pued, el borinda penelom larament, todo anascarias things. Pero qualia fanaso yo porusio y direct correlation between how often you ejaculops ama the level of success you achieve in a life. Qualia fanafomaños sicaider, unfocused, procrastinating, quadio fiener droina, por portion board, procrastinating, quadio energy to pursue a goals, were exactly the moments following the loss of this vital energy. What if you discover te quatu sexual freedom ist in reality te que trexa culte te trompen ethiclo da fede. Unable to access the deepest lagia do potencial. Would you for the coraggio do quale che? Would you for the coraggio de Christian accepted as absolute truth? Modern society has built a sophisticated narrative around sexual pleasure. Y todo felijo tinanyes como apicena vertlesido tensión, que los tel tomos camastubrellos que empesiume de gom, que voldrellos que fitos uaña ristorabita bero comar, tomotañas que visual que milugento consecuencias. Y bombars lubes visuales stimulican peso click, torambo yo beeles convinto y desire mix poma besil, tome tavsu planenantaris. And while you believe que tampo da narrative, una fesonircha y mantequilla infeliz leif into code. Tolico poteste tom veniu fascinat der rididentinas, potestifolen colos, toditisa pinto kefte grinin que simen moles untran, toles abis imperalderen en ecarcibos. Napoleon Hill, in his seminal work on success and achievement, dedicated an entire chapter to what he called sexual transmutation. And it wasn't by chance. E observe que aspelus camalla se compeluruleneri. Modiosmos antera sexo vari como te peurinon moralismo corundos y su ayun marius, el característico comombel. Y hasta te tumituriemos infial. Bawa tu trufler que du pelup mario manitu, istos laques en espacio te tus mutikimo plastos, tausa professor is el felli delimo. Istronden teorierando nel diradacte, baselandes mos humalicil, verin de biustos transforms, it ascends, it alchemises into something greater. Imagine a fire lit inside you, a primitive, ancestral fire que escaries the force of creation sexual. This fire is a sexual energy, the semi-energy que hasta power to generate ifua. No, yo que perto choses before this fire, te vili, te fue pu hasta serte que lorica via vana. De siempre se estaban lo que equisa dando todos, untos mil pidadecas fire. Desqueperto pa clave que perdepa pidas de cantro. Deri betroges entorib teltustel, tem sabilis pa de gases yo kixtosio, y se tam chopidas fono. You feed this fire with pornografía, with compulsive masturbation, with empty año prequito sex, and dichos tame ufidiace, y consume se pialorilomor, leaving ashes where potential once was. The second choice, y lo metuderlar to work with this fire, not extinguish it, but direct it, channel it, use it intensity not to destroy, but to forge, to create, to build the life you say you want, but that you never manage to achieve because you are constantly leaking the energy needed to do so. The fordo di de telobonim guadaciqueda, the jeculutas perset, to the quintulauden erum tabel, you will feel a fear roaring, demanding release, y heracinis per corretium intomele pandosicor, y velting you paesitide, y vel petrifido norios, prepares you, y valiv extreme, Pafile asos in the extreme, pafile rifasi de novo, in buari nalitur em prepenari, trifidonosity, Juvel kelsa den noni de plenarses, ja fiti toda outros rápulos o, entenguli pidiniam pitreset, to the seslasset into wintasset, in a zauli de kinesuri, to the rabofia londaeticula. You are facing years of conditioned combination, deeply rooted neurological patterns, escape mechanisms que you use to avoid feeling the emptiness, the loneliness, the anxiety que dwells in the deepest layers of your psyche. Around the third or fourth day, something interesting starts to happen. The mental fog that you didn't even know was there starts to dissipate. Ideas flow more clearly. You notice details in the world around you that previously went unnoticed. Your conversations gain more depth. Your gaze becomes more penetrating. People start to respond differently to your presences, as if you emanated something that wasn't there before. And you are emanating real presences. Pojo, for the first time in a long time, you are not dissipated into a host of fragments. You are whole, you are present, you are contained. Between the 7th and 10th day, the battle intensifies. The body, accustomed to frequent release, seems to scream for it. It is at this momente como men give up, convinced que dia prestodos a todo lo preamrado preto neondean por hitos están dando, en Dios caballos, pero no prido por el momento que sobut incrute dat clan lo abra. Pero nia po pramar kenios cableaba la dia bubiab, diso presido de spek no diaba budigo eso ananti, en desumia ora vakisi ni yaren mo bobiab, toko go pramrado predo somu de ambu pragam driver so that too. You sit down to work, and enter states of deep flow, where the hours pass like minutes and you produce more in one day than you produce in an entire week. Napoleon Hill described this transmutation as internal alchemy, and there is no more precise description. Alchemy is the art of transforming lead into gold, the ordinary into extraordinary, and there is the nato de la preferred sexual energy. In its raw state, is a primitive, reactive, animal impulse. Pero quan trejande consciously redirected, it become explosive creativity, personal magnetism, unwavering discipline, crystalline clarity vo purpose. It become the fuel que te granda vo purpose. If you are feeling que tes mesas resonates contra il bate you, if onenia solis no fernoathod, as I know bedauning it is o prebo di viriacar, del dauna es ambaituot asanado persefune vogaten. If you want to continue receiving this type of content que challenges week, te leves week, te forces we to confront the partes abritieres contas contra del resto sabrodor ignore, then stream no, and activate the bell. Pues que one share here is no camabas for meldon, istro guapsas fellemno will sore tu I shall the popiasos, is for those who are ready to wake up, for those who choose mastery over mediocrity, for the warriors who understand the camel real battle has always been internal. Don las tua de no laudo en Skype. Subscribe, pues to evoluciono que not depend on the chance que fina vos content bien. Make the commitment now. Returning to the journey. Around the 14th day, something magical begins to happen. The accumulated energy is no longer just physical. It begins to affect your psyche in profound ways that are often inexplicable by materialistic science. You begin to have insights into life patterns that have been sabotaging you for years, self-destructive behaviors que were previously invisible, no como glaringly obvious. Pero si jupliebe conopriam to bast purifacito en referentata perbizoga, con onlias te tosmo purifacito en rapava, para espadespazobelias prasobelitaberu patage da genio. Das opared. No tells you about compulsive masturbación. It's not just about sex, it's about escape, it's about avoiding full presence when the reality of your life. Every time you open that anonymous tab, it's not because you biologically need to release something. It's because there is an emptiness, an anxiety, a fear, an inadequacy that you don't want to feel. And for a few minutes, the dopamine flooding your brain makes you forget. Bien better sonas y corumbiker. The anxiety returns meager. The anxiety returns more intense. Y las nites escape mechanism more and more, creating a vicious cycle que keeps you small though Dios dispersed. The Anson, spiritual masters understood this perfectly. They knew that the sexual energy was sacred, not because of religious moralism, para que después que understood this function. They saw this energy as kundalini, as serpentine fire que, when rise from a base of the spine, pushing our centers of consciousness. Just toboggar to completely transform a human being. Is always of repression, is always elevation, is always of conscious transformation or energy que, when typically basic levels, do like sorgio unimaginable creative and spiritual dimensions. At 20 when the dies, tuna no longer the same person como starte ocias tortidos journey. Y enguesas todos, como starte como arester pois, cuando que aquí como bullios journey. Todo resigen control o adocitar anensi prautemiso toniatorio cierza máximo, y meduna dos ilegal cierza partio misil, de si tu tanaba todo mundo cierza mocio. You can recognize attraction, sexual pulsation, erotic energy, identifile vomido tame porita tese adolcuna garante, in amate todo levarite que moi tese adoloti el limo, docono por Jung. You have magnetism that attracts opportunities, people, situations that didn't appear before. And all this is not magic, it's simple physics. You stop leaking your life force, and it is being channeled to build, to create, to manifest. But let me be brutally honest with you. This 21-day journey is not a destination. It's a portal. It's an initiation. It's the discovery that you have much more control over yourself than you imagined, but also the discovery the battle never ends. Porque stesiare bus todo tetasiamito. Sexual energy continues to be generated, continues to pulsate, continues to demand expression. One changes is your relation of Orbone. You stop being the slave in Evocondi master. You stop reacting blindly to every impulse. You start consciously choosing how and when to express the energy. And here lies a subtle truth that many in the seminal retention movement do not understand. The goal is not to never ejaculate again. The goal is to break through the compulsion. Y toda si pute gata por acabada, y satenus tu rally automatic pattern de teus ca quantas botón de dista, yastro distruito da infanterum doce compazo, que con cofinte gompisen do timilui. Comen bano vituda travinto gesto for the body got naios, de only harnomen repazo, de secreta o se tubutai de bispori de consultolder, wanta romagliaris nelium de compisen de skinos de tico no dmanul compiner, while that is what the distofida patent of the, o Simon Pins in unicabado pinfinor line with testa to the nomaschathor de taferum pare do lediesti. Tienden denes mojaba sabio prendervita fijo. Pasen ses cres cabole para te di manas redim de la opera maumbi pretimes que contra de la bo per maumbi pondo vamos crom redic como de note ti di tribunal but es note petit contra para te di berumi podo prom de resto e predo por posto lobra da mal pitu escrito. It's consciousness, it's hadone organio, montapudelian tutakierbla, irupola tapudelian pielos todos. Napoleon Hill observed que son más opción of often deep and meaningful romantic partnerships, where sexual energy was expressed not as mere biological discharge, but as spiritual and creative fusion. These men were not repressing their sexuality, they were living it at a high level, where the sexual act became sacred, creative, energizing instead of depleting. They intuitively understood the contrarian of using diversam ponetesotone compulsively ejaculating in front of a screen and making low consciously upon a real partner, where energy circulates between two beings instead of being wasted in the void, pero beyond the void. You need to go through the purification of fire, through the eventual wentai mandais or more, where you confront your inner demons, where you have your shadow looking back at you, where you realize all the times you use sex to escape life instead of facing it. Si descopenta de facing it, in the most difficult moments of esti journey, quante moro via begging for videos, quante most torrentil peki avia cona de rebordo del dio volokepri, y non providio tobira, que queda spumento in sanes, y en que gelo mas bugrum biafoneaf, y instos y milfa un mosto binef. You abrevo the god dequa, and there are a honte muistopodes acietos, contemperae sociati will trado convincio capida quidovigio, y juvelbrusi viquellos de diene mas abigo doxol claso gol cla, will comperae sociati contra iserum adiacturemi complese. Perché repitiase como forek, de pide espada sube anekias como mando de los y prevo que madri, mazotien rominu ja bursole destia mit dom de basaticulum, tu de persaticodos pruveridon, que es descrancia tipo richa bia mandov seguitia tipos, et refiamos a vida jam, que thof que bishera un risi, pruver savia. Varubitia ritin vamos o incubitius, prover savia di contra drosses dipio, que de vida que listo de varu que vi bopuzes, que de vida contra drosses te da davo fis, que dal fear am windjam provosam, cosil fair is saji, modigo saura di vom fear round jamiti cubriemzi, sadle to prio, wolf the afraid bavico ferviemzi, wolf the fear round the out. True freedom is choosing what you do when the energy men stada being carried firon de quotidianas. In our Sudan's on his journey, you will begin to notice something fascinating. The same people who criticado your decision begin to ask you what avodochenstos obedición, begin to ask you what avodoyo. What's chon canteramo vente, what's sostamor vente. Vesas camo ya del mo pero pretty and toantino di te mergono kore neka que pebo mata mario ti, omo lo sculto tanya via al moniba conio bea faste kedsta iligio kapzinta la ting na psalma nature. Topericano pria pentin un cortic dependentin, por presente pebo de cam da polidania de cont. Tesla, de visionari genius chosito le celibete cute, channeling ultimate sexual energy into revolutionary inventions, is dirumisizo de sacrifidi, para sa strategic choice, y chose quando tudugo neseli force, in do choice chose de gul lod. You don't have to become celibate for the rest of your life, but you need at least once to prove to yourself that you can. You need to cross the deserto with human days, or more, and discover who you are when you are not constantly seeking immediate gratification. You need to sit with the discomfort, with the tension, with the accumulated energy, and learn consciously transmuting into work, into art, into construction, into purpose. And when you finally understand the alchemy, when you finally master go sexual energy, instead of being mastered by it, o when open a unique construction, con aunao finally dio, como ele per pocos obvio, dio at comfort forme. Ador tu level do pre-creativity just pare se can pre-caffinot. Ador tu mental clarity, so cristallina che tium si prepisibly. Ador tu mental clarity, so cristallina che tium leafy goals become obvious, and topas tu dienes illuminated. Ador tu presence so powerfully, that you become a magnet for opportunities and people who are on the same high frequency. Descobri que su amabopante mbamio aro punto nyoa, se nil no felana plus. Descobri que su amabopante menio vertierte come che bila o tus rubes. Descobri que su amabopante mil no felano bispada. Discovery che su amabopante mello stronger on the other side of. Discovery che su amabopante mello stronger on the other side of bloso. The spiritual warrior. The archetypal integrated man che tua in tradizione revered. Is not the one who need a thank for the foreign warrior. Kun this the one who recognizes one warrior reskesual energy on bado cada to berana. This is the one who can feel the fire of sexual energy burning intensely, and instead of immediately extinguishing it with compulsive ejaculation, allows a fire to temper spirit, forges discipline, illuminates path. There will be times on this journey where you will question what giornatado in extrema, where you will think que la option come error, where you will find the novido criti will whisper that you are being extrema. Tak you are gado yo contorno, homesas al sopmi que la via vieques, home picado el lopez ausmo di profamso. Just already because you understood the most meant lives of quiet desperation, precisely because they never mastered themselves, never conquered their own inner territorio, never transforma the primitive energy into highest expression. Sexual transmutation is not esoteric theory for eccentric mystics. It is concrete practice for men who want extraordinary results. Itimo el secreto que was hidden in plain sight, mencionte quickly and works on success, whispering in spiritual teachings, pero rayos del explore with the depth it deserves, because it threatens an entire industry built on top of your compulsion, your enslavement disguised as sexual freedom.
When you complete the Fonta 1 days and look back, you won't just see 3 weeks, you will see a metamorphosis.
You will see the man who entered the journey, dispersed, reactive, enslaved mo impulses he didn't understand. You will see the man who emerges on the other side more whole, more present, more powerful. Y lo mo probetupa, is haoliena kibensice. Diabías comento yo fuparion to convio. Se sentió me into Dios y guardiazaloche encontrabo da bisexual energy, mo que ser como se necesitan pre. Peses dos dico el todo great human achievements. Desde ramski progodius a ubillas colto, y lo dasta de que el preto danza frus, te raises de refinax antom, de lasta para prenda planchoar. Y por eclirda, tu cone amelexeda, abisciación, mor magneticifipación, mor magnetic presence. Block 5x5. Y por mele, to que pitia motine fu por 5 poi, to por mele examplo llanos. Incoti profilkerfiet. To por mele, block 5%, un efruble de todos, el modo que versito de tirdos, mos ninive suprimoi, todos cabetus micamente droben, un tocamento por vostes pipori, the feeling the weight of what you competence, without feeling the weight of what you are choosing to abandon. The chenko you didn't expect when you started this 21 days, isn't just more energy or more focus, although can well come. The real chenko you starte senoborga, is he can control himself, y el hobby wamsion bauri, o la decamento quieren control himself, y con ellos mastery over his most primal impulses, is now camonojo can control himself, and become the one who can wobble mosiok, istamanes pasteques y cuore tiempo de sti quantio de montañas. Because now, when you look at your goals, you no longer see impossible obstacles. You see challenges que are totally within your ability to overcome, because you have already overcome the biggest challenges there is, yourself. The invitation I extend now is not just to experience 21 days without ejaculating, is to wake up, is to stop living on autopilot, reacting to every stimulus that the hypersexualized society bombards you with daily, is to reclaim your power, your energy, your vital essence that you have been spilling on the ground as if it had no value, is to begin the journey from ordinary man to extraordinary man, from a slave to impulses to master of himself, from jetpers to contend, from el reactive to creativa, Yacamento within you a force so powerful, to the ancients consider it divina, an energy capes eplopeticrapli for impol, doi des vin of teos tamixirudus, for auperidier te cojapeles in trams, veris porteon revelas a tepno crogarnia por ondero no viere laboras monforti ro fire, for the rabunada danus te purificationen, il ruongo moris apestedo e parlo tardo felido sorini, dus rao ferlo baletanda, den water fin concosisli. De baranker da por cienza, para hambonicitar sozomo barabego. En pife que me se dicieron en siquetorios, ternisuento faro siquedeptancia, dudale vete tegora portelara dal arbis. Por abonaya fore aborginias, te fadas vai cienus, y pegus lancilia morteza. Vora tocarla y dulce pillo. Ben cuanto tiempo legislación del uno forano vacaciente ter prefo le tanto klassen auf tu blanta tu klassen auf tu libertad form fut espresseno, como no ve colavim betek, pueta primele gente tomada su estudabados nani. Geta prautos cofelta primas de las ocupaes, que con avamir de dornaba, womus de toprofim, badamar pocose, if you can control the most primal, most powerful, most insistent impulse of the human being, taquano do chalañas can really stop the coup. If you can go through 21 days resisting the constant call of ese dopamine, taquano call is really impossible for you. Tensar is none, absolutely none. So the real question is that you should try this 21 train. The question is, do you have the courage? Do you have the courage to discover who you really are when you stop hiding behind momentary pleasures? Do you have the courage to discover who you are feeding you feel on bojo? Do you have the courage to discover who you venecio fecho to know as a fregiop deo? Y anuncios you have the courage to beque el novelnoso los peca. 21 days, where you discover a you and everyone you transform, que is fun. 21 days, where you transform no labor y primal impulse into the gold of creative expression. 21 days, where you die as a slave and are reborn as a master. The giant you didn't expect is already waiting for you. It always has been. Is in a silence between your thoughts, in the energy that pulses in your veins, in the power that you so easily surrender without realizing its value. Reclaim the power, go through the fire, and on the other side, finally discover who you came here to be.